All right, good morning, 6th grade. Go ahead, go into Schoology with me. Week 2, Wednesday, April 15th. Math, solving for a variable. Go to the attachment. Again, this is for April 15th. It should look like this. So, Shero, Notability, exit. Go to Notability, create new note, import, open. Here we go. So today we're going to look at being able to solve for a variable. If you want to pause now, do your find the 10 differences. Then we'll get into our practice for the day. Reach out to me if you have questions or wonderings so that I can help you too. So next, what you're going to do today is a lot of review and practice. So the first ones that I have you do on your own, again, we draw the line down the middle and we do the opposite. So they did add 14. We're going to subtract 14. Those cancel out. On this side, I still have R. And on this side, I have 20 minus 14, which is 6. I'm going to encourage you still to plug it back in. If I had 6 plus 14, that does equal 20. Checks out. First row here is plus. Next row I have for you is multiply. So line down the middle. Times. So we are going to divide. Divide is the opposite of times. Divide by 20. So this side I still have R. The other side I have 80 divided by 20. And that gave me 4. So if I plug it back in, I have 20 times 4. And I can check on my calculator. And that gave me 80. And they match. Next one, I have subtract. Line down the middle. So the opposite of subtract is to add. Add 5. Add 5. This side, M equals 7 plus 5 gives me 12. Plug it back in. If I had 12 minus 5, I would have 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. I would have 7. That checks out. Then our last row of practice here is divide. Line down the middle. They divided by 9. I'm going to multiply by 9. Cancel out. Times 9. On this side, I have M still. This side, I have 10 times 9. I can count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So 90 should be my answer. I'm going to go back in and substitute and say 90 divided by, because remember this means divide, 9. Clear, 90 divided by 9. I should have 10 as my answer. Those match, so check. Now you are going to complete the other ones that I did not. So make sure you solve for all of the practice problems on here. Right now is a good time to pause and do that. before we go on to the next step. All right, you should have those completed. The next one we are going to do is talk about these word problems, because we are going to see word problems with variables that we don't know. So what we know is, we're going to read this together. Charles is 3 years older than Paul. If Y represents Paul's age, what expression represents Charles' age? So here's Paul. And in place of Paul, they said to use Y. I think instead of Y, it makes sense that we use a P for Paul. So we're going to actually change this up a little. And we're going to say if P represents Paul's age, what would be Charles' age? So here's Paul. Here's Charles. So Charles is always going to be 3 years older. That's not going to change. So let's say Paul was 5 years old. If Paul was 5, Charles would be 3 years older. He would be 8. So what I'm trying to figure out is, what's the operation that's happening? If Paul was 27, Charles would be 3 years older. He would be 30. So every time we are doing what operation? We are adding 3. So let's make sure that that would be true. Like if Paul was 50 years old, Charles would be 53. So the expression that we use to show the relationship with Paul and Charles would be P plus 3. Every time Charles is going to be 3 years older. All right. Next one, Maya bought some pizzas for $12 each. If P presents the number of pizzas she bought, what expression would show the amount she spent? So what's happening in this problem is, here's a pizza, and that costs $12. Here's a pizza, and that costs $12. Here's a pizza, and that costs $12. So if she bought 3 of them, it would be 12, that's the dollars, times however many pizzas she bought. And she bought 3 that time. But what we're trying to say is, what would happen, what's the pattern, that if she kept buying and buying, and she bought one for every student at Global Arts Plus, how many pizzas, instead of us sitting here and doing add, I don't have enough room for it. What is happening with math for us to solve this? So again, each pizza is worth $12. So we have P for pizza, and we are multiplying. So P times 12. For every pizza, she's going to spend $12. So again, if we all of a sudden said she needed to buy 500 pizzas, we could say 500 times 12 to get how much she would pay. The other thing about this one is to remember that in algebra, you're going to see it written a different way. They're not going to have the times sign there. They're going to squish them together, and they always put the number first. So we would say it as 12p. That doesn't really even look like math, but this tells you a lot of information. This tells me for every pizza, she spent $12. Okay, so the expression we use for this equation is 12p. All right, your assignment today is to match the expression to the table. So you are going to try to figure out what's happening in each of these. And so it's really good to start with, let's start with one that is a little easier. Let's get it out of the way. Let's start with this one and try to find the table that's n minus 3. So I'm going to go up here. All of these columns are n. So is it true if I have 3 minus 3, do I get 12? That is not true, so that doesn't work for that one. So I'm going to try the next one. N minus 3. So 50 minus 3, I do get 47. 52 minus 3, I do get 49. 54, this one might be a match. Minus 3, I get 51. They had an error. Theirs was wrong. It should be 51. So this equation is n minus 3. So all I need you to do to show me that you found the match is to draw a line. Sorry, that was my dog waking up and shaking. All right, so you're going to draw a line from the expression to the table that it matches with. It's going to be really important that you try it with more than one number. So I'm going to try the next one. Next one I might try might be this one, 4 times n. So again, I'm going to go up, start with my top one, say, is it true? 3 times 4. Does that give me 12? It does. 4 times 4 gave me 16. 5 times 4 gave me 20. So this one is 4n. I found the match. All right. Now you have the last 4 to try to figure out on your own. So the ones that you have left to try to solve are to find the matches for those 4. Once you found the matches, go ahead and screenshot and submit this to Schoology. I hope you all had a good Wednesday. We're on day 3 of all this madness. Again, can't say it enough that I miss you all like crazy. And I just hope that we get back to normal soon. So day 3, Wednesday, submit this to Schoology, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.